Good evening. Welcome to day 2 of Sun and Moon. Today we are going to practice Moon Salutations. Moon Salutations are the cooling and calming variation of Sun Salutations. So in the morning, this morning, maybe you did the Sun Salutations, and those are meant to wake you up, wake up your whole body, wake up your nervous system, wake up your mind. And now Moon Salutations are meant to calm yourself down, stretch out the body, open up the hips, the hamstrings, the shoulders, and the heart space, and wind you down for a hopefully beautiful night of rest. So we're going to get started right away at the top of the mat. Mountain pose, feet underneath your hips, shoulders over your hips, and crown of the head is reaching towards the ceiling. Soften your shoulders away from your ears and feel the earth underneath your feet. Start to notice your breath. Your gaze can go past the tip of your nose, or you can close your eyes if you feel balanced. If you hear little meows, that's Turkey in the studio with me. Come on, join us. We're about to do Moon Salutations. She'll join in. Okay, so connecting to your breath, noticing how your body feels at this point in your day. And then with your next inhale, reach your arms out to the sides and up, upward salute. Maybe look towards your thumbs. And then exhale, let your hips kick over to the left and let your upper body and your arms lean over to the right for a crescent side bend. Inhale, come back up through center, reach through your hands, press down through your feet, get long. Exhale, your hips tilt over to the right as your upper body lifts and tilts over to the left. Inhale, come back up through center. And then exhale, you're going to step your right foot back, open out to the right side of your mat. Toes point out, heels point in, arms go wide. Breathe in, lift your heart, lift your gaze, star pose. And exhale, bend your knees, sink your hips down, bend your elbows, goddess. Inhale, straighten your legs, straighten your arms, star pose, breathe in. Exhale, triangle pose. You're going to parallel your back feet to the back edge of your mat. Parallel your front foot to the long edge of your mat, so point the toes forward. Let your left hip kick down, let the right hip kick up, and reach your left hand forward until it can't help but rest down on your thigh, maybe your shin, or if you're like me and you have a block near the top of your mat, just reach for that and bring it right next to your left foot. Place your hand down on that block, and then maybe you look up towards your right thumb. And let's take a couple of breaths here. This is our first one. Big stretch through the hamstring, the groin, the side body. And then for this next pose, pyramid pose, you're going to maybe walk this right foot in a little bit, point the right toes towards the front right corner of your mat, and then if you have another block, bring it underneath your right hand. Your front leg is straight, your back leg is straight, the heel can be a little bit lifted, and you're reaching out through the crown of your head in pyramid pose. Again, let's take a couple of breaths here. So if you're new to the practice of yoga, these are some staples that you might notice as we continue throughout the rest of our practice days together. Starting to just get familiar. You don't need to know everything yet. You don't need to know anything at all, actually. Just starting to let go of the day and feel into your body. Moving into a low lunge, you're going to step that right foot a little bit more back. Excuse me, Turkey. And then lower your right knee down. You're going to be bent into this left knee. Use your next inhale to reach your arms forward and up. This is your low lunge. It's an inhale, and then you're going to exhale. Bring your hands back down to the blocks. Spin on that right knee so that the toes point towards the left long edge of your mat. Inhale, cartwheel your arms open into a T shape and look over your left fingertips. So this is a side lunge. It's also kind of like a knee down warrior two. We are lunging into the front knee, pressing down through the top of the right foot, and lengthening through your spine towards the sky. One more breath in. Exhale, left hand comes down, swing that right arm up and forward and down, spin on the back foot, and then you're going to tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and step up to the top of your mat, forward fold. Exhale. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, widen your feet. So I moved my blocks a little bit forward. Widen your feet to the width of your mat. Toes point out, heels point in. Malasana. You can skip this. You're just going to lower your hips down into a squat. Your hands can stay on blocks. They can stay on the floor, or you can bring hands to heart center. And you can also have the heels lifted here. You can have a block sat underneath your booty. And then also, like I said, you can completely take this part out of the sun salutation if it's too much right now. Take another breath in. And exhale, place your hands back on the blocks or on the floor. Press down into your feet to lift your hip. Walk the feet back underneath your hips and forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, we're going to do all of that again, but on the second side. So we're going to move through all of those postures in reverse. Step the left foot back. Exhale and lower your left knee down. So you're lunging into that front knee. Inhale, arms forward and up. Exhale, place your hands down on the blocks. Turn on the left knee. Cartwheel your arms open into a T shape and look over your right fingertips. Exhale, place your right hand down, place your left hand down on the floor or on the block. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, and then straighten your front leg, pyramid pose. Again, here you can walk the left foot forward a little bit. The toes are pointing to the front left corner of your mat this time. And maybe you walk your blocks a little bit closer underneath your shoulders. Pressing firmly through your front leg for right foot. And reaching out through the crown of the head. Now we're moving into our triangle pose. So you're going to walk that left foot back just a little bit. Parallel the back foot to the back edge of the mat. Inhale, open your left arm into the air. Maybe look towards your left thumb. With your next inhale, imagine someone is pulling on your left wrist. They're helping you come all the way up. Star pose, toes point out, heels point in. Lift your heart. Exhale, goddess. Bend your knees, bend your elbows. Inhale, star pose. Exhale, look to the top of your mat and step up. Arms stay up. Breathe in, upward salute. Exhale, let your hips kick over to the right, lean to the left. Inhale, exhale, to the right. Inhale, and exhale, hands to heart center. Notice how you feel. Try to practice these moon salutations with a relaxed effort. Make your breath the most important aspect of your practice. And so this variation that I just taught you of moon salutations is a very gentle variation. If that didn't feel very gentle, that's okay. It's really about the mindfulness that you bring to your motions, to your movements, that makes it more gentle. But also, I'm going to now give you some more variations that might be a little bit more challenging if that's what you're looking for. And they also are going to give you a deeper stretch into your hips, and they're going to strengthen and improve your mobility. So we're going to start again in mountain pose at the top of your mat. I'm going to turn around on my mat just so that it is a little bit easier for you to see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to grab my blocks and take them to the other side. Beginning in mountain pose, head over heart, heart over hips. Arms are resting beside you. Press firmly through your feet. Feel the earth underneath your feet. Reach up through the crown of your head. On your next inhale, reach your arms out and up. Exhale, bend over to the left, kick your hips to the right. Inhale, come up. Exhale, bend to the right, hips to the left. Inhale, come up. Exhale, step your left foot back, star pose, just like before. Open your arms out wide, toes point out, heels point in, breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees, bend your elbows, goddess. Inhale, press into your feet, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Exhale, triangle pose. The left toes parallel to the back edge of the mat, right toes point forward. Let that right hip kick down. Reach your right hand forward until it comes to your thigh again, to the shin, or to a block maybe. And then you're reaching up through your left arm. Maybe you look towards your left thumb as long as your neck is okay with that. Breathe. We're going to move a little bit faster on this side, on this turn. You're going to turn your left toes to point towards the front left corner of your mat. Parallel your hips to the front of your mat. So square the hips off. And then maybe if you have another block, you bring that underneath your left hand. Feel this big hamstring stretch. Depending on your flexibility, you may not need to walk your left foot in very much, but that is always an option. And again, the heels do not have to be grounded. From pyramid, step the left foot back a little bit, lower the left knee, bend into the right knee. Inhale, reach your arms forward and up. Exhale, hands come down to the blocks again, and this is where I'll give you a different variation. Instead of this side lunge where you're on the knee and you're opening out to these warrior two arms, you're going to keep your hands down on the blocks, tuck your toes under, lift that back knee, and then come onto the sole of the foot and parallel the edge of your foot to the back edge of your mat, kind of like in triangle pose, but we're still lunging into this right knee. Walk your hands around to the left side of your mat, and then you're going to start to let your hips sink down, keep dropping into this front leg, maybe lift the left toes. Skandasana. Here you can have the hands onto the blocks, onto the floor, or if you can, hands to heart center, and then look towards the back edge of your mat. If this is too much for you, you're just taking that variation with the back knee down, looking over your right fingertips. We're going to make our way back around. Oop, balance. Hands come down to the floor or to the blocks. Press into your feet to lift your hips. Walk your hands back around. And then you're coming back to something like this lunge, either with the knee down or with the knee lifted and the toes tucked under. If you have your knee down, go ahead and lift your back knee. Let's step up, forward fold, exhale. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. And then walk your hands or your blocks just a little bit ahead of you. Widen your feet. Lower your hips down. Malasana, squat. Elbows can come to the insides of your knees, hands to heart center, or again, you can keep your hands down on the blocks or on the floor. Take a little rest here. Especially if you took that Skandasana, if you've never done that before, that can be really challenging. So just take care. And now let's start to make our way through all of those poses again, but on the other side. So press into your feet, place your hands down on the floor or the blocks, and walk your feet back underneath your hip points. Forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step your right foot back. Walk the blocks back a little bit so you have that stability. And then you're either going to lower the right knee down, spin on the back knee, open out to this warrior two variation, this side lunge. Or you're going to tuck those back toes under, turn onto the sole of the foot, paralleling that heel and the side of the foot to the back edge of your mat. Start to walk your hands around to the right side of your mat this time, and your hands can stay on the blocks or come down to the floor. Sink into your hips, lift your right toes maybe. Skandasana, again, hands can stay on the floor, or you can bring hands to heart center and really think about lengthening out through your spine, challenging your balance a little bit. Deep hip stretch. Exhale, everybody. Come back to your lunge, whether it was a low lunge, facing forward, the right knee is down, arms forward and up, breathe in. And exhale, hands to the blocks, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, straighten the front leg, and try to ground your back heel. Even if it doesn't touch the ground, you're reaching back through that heel for pyramid pose. And just a little alignment check-in. Those back toes are pointing to the front right corner of the mat this time. On your next inhale, walk your right foot back, parallel the foot to the back edge of your mat again. Reach your right hand into the air, triangle. Maybe you look towards your right thumb. One more breath in and out. On your next inhale, star pose. Reach up to that right hand. Heels point in, toes point out. Lift your heart. Exhale, bend into your knees, bend your elbows, goddess. Inhale, star pose. Exhale, step up to the top of your mat, upward salute. Exhale, hips go to the left, upper body to the right. Inhale, come up. Exhale, upper body to the left, hips to the right. Inhale, come up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Really starting to connect to that moon energy. The cooling, calming effects of the moon. And this is our feminine energy. The yin to the yang. And so these moon salutations are still very powerful. They are still strengthening and stretching, just like our sun salutations, but they are more so aligning us with the moon energies to calm the nervous system, calm the mind, and cool the body. I don't know about you, but even with all of that knowledge, I still feel a little warm. But we're going to do one more round of these. And I'm going to just move a little bit faster so that maybe you can start to feel the flow a little bit. So we're going to start once again on the opposite side. So I'm just turning myself around so that it's easier for you to see, and I'm bringing my blocks with me. And then come to your mountain pose at the top of your mat. Feel that stable starting point. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, upper body to the right, hips to the left. Inhale. Exhale, upper body to the left, hips to the right. Inhale. Exhale, star pose. Right foot steps back, heels point in, toes point out. Exhale, bend your knees, bend your elbows, goddess. Inhale, star pose. Exhale, triangle pose, Trikonasana. Left hip kicks down, right hip kicks up. Left hand to thigh, shin, block. Exhale, pyramid pose. Hands to blocks or to the floor. Square your hips to the front of the mat. Exhale, lower the right knee down. Inhale, arms forward and up, low lunge. Exhale, hands to the blocks, either taking that warrior two variation or skandasana. Inhale, back to facing the front of the mat, step up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway, widen the feet apart. Exhale, Malasana. Inhale, press into the feet. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, lift halfway. Starting to the other side. Exhale, left foot steps back. Skandasana or your warrior two variation. Inhale, press into your feet. Come back to facing the top of the mat. Lower the back knee down and use your next inhale to come into your low lunge on the other side. Exhale, hands come down to the blocks. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, pyramid pose. Straighten both legs. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to stay. Inhale, triangle. Parallel the back foot to the back of the mat. And reach the left hand into the air. Exhale, press into your feet. Come up to star. Use your next inhale to lift your heart. Exhale, bend your knees, bend your elbows. Goddess. Inhale, star pose again. Exhale, look to the top of your mat, step up. Upward salute, breathe in. Exhale, hips to the right, upper body to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale, upper body to the right, hips to the left. And inhale, upward salute. Exhale, hands to heart center. Pause. Observe how you feel. Okay, release your hands. Flutter your eyelids open if you had them closed. Now, we're going to take a shavasana, a brief little shavasana to close everything up. So just start to make your way down to your mat, slowly and mindfully. I'm going to move my props out of the way. If you have other props like pillows or blankets, you can bring them to your mat. And we're going to lower all the way down to the back. Take your time. And just like this morning, if you did the sun practice, the morning practice, then you may recall that I gave you the option to have the feet on the mat here in constructive rest, or to extend your legs out long and let your arms rest wherever's comfortable to you. And let your whole body be heavy, softening into the support of the earth, the support of your mat. Close your eyes. Let your breath slow down. Let the mind quiet down. And we'll be here for just a little bit of time. This is the most important part of your practice. Letting everything that you stretched out, stirred up, moved around in your body settle back in, letting it be received. And then for today's practice, you get the choice of how long you stay here, but I'm going to go ahead and leave you here in Shavasana. Maybe you make your way to bed right after this, or maybe you have another plan, but whatever you do, take your time coming out of Shavasana. Thank you for being here with me, practicing with me. I'm grateful that you showed up today. You should be grateful for yourself as well for showing up. And I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.